Hi, folks, it's Peter Lemieux with Rounding Third from BadderSports. Welcome to the show. I tell baseball stories. So today, not so much a story, but a reflection. I was thinking about nicknames. You know, people get nicknames and they rarely stick. You have a nickname when you're on a little league team or a high school sporting team, or maybe at work you get a nickname and it goes away because it doesn't make sense after a while. But there are some people who actually live their life with the nickname. I don't know why that happens, but I thought it would be kind of fun to look at people like that in our baseball history. People whose nicknames are so prominent, most of us don't know their real first name. And what I did is I picked a couple out just to have a few laughs and tried to look how they got the nicknames. So we're going to go through a few names. Before I do that, folks, like, subscribe, 5-star. When I'm done, tell me nicknames that strike you in the baseball world, okay? We're going to go start off with an old timer right around 1900s. A famous Chicago Cub has more hits than any Cub in history and also managed the team to a whole bunch of victories. Went in the Hall of Fame pretty much right away. His name was Cap Anson. And so I said, that can't be his name. In fact, it wasn't. Cap Anson got his nickname when he started showing more and more leadership in sports. He ended up managing for a while, and the team called him Cap as short for captain. And it got so famous that most people have no idea how Cap got his name, but that was it. We're just going to do a few of these for some kicks and giggles. How about a guy in the Hall of Fame named Home Run Baker? Home Run Baker. Now here's a doozy. Home Run Baker never hit many home runs, but it was a time when there weren't many people hitting home runs. It wasn't very accepted that people would hit home runs. In 1911, what happened is it was for the dead ball era, and Home Run Baker startled baseball by hitting 11 home runs. It's funny today to think that a guy hitting 11 home runs would have the name Home Run Baker, but it won the home run crown. And I don't know, outside of that, he got into Hall of Fame pretty much on his nickname. That's Home Run Baker. There was a great Hall of Fame player from the Negro Leagues called Cool Papa Bell. Obviously, his name wasn't Cool Papa Bell, but what happened was he was like 19 years old, and he just had a way of playing that, not that he was sticking himself out there to be noticed, but he had immense confidence and poise so that he just made great plays and would just act like it was normal. So the people started calling him cool. But the people in the league thought you can't call a 19-year-old kid cool. So there was a guy who changed it. He said it's better if we call him Cool Papa. And you know that stuck to the day he died. His name was Cool Papa Bell. Then there's another one, Yogi Berra. You know, a lot of people think that he was named after the cartoon character Yogi Bear. No, Yogi Berra came before Yogi Bear. The question is, why Yogi? Okay. It happened when he was growing up in St. Louis, and like a lot of kids at the time, would play ball all through the neighborhood. And one of his friends just said, I'm going to call you Yogi. No one knows why, but for some reason it stuck in the neighborhood and it never left him. Very few people know that his name was Lawrence Peter Berra. but he was a great Hall of Famer with the Yankees. He's just a baseball icon. But Lawrence Peter Berra, for no real reason, became Yogi from the time he was a kid. Um, how about this guy? Hall of Fame pitcher named Dizzy Dean. How did he get to be Dizzy Dean? Um, it seems like he was pitching one day and pitching really well. And the opposing manager did not like him and didn't like the fact that he was pitching well. So he's told his batters to go up there and knock that dizzy guy, knock him dizzy, was what he said. Just knock him dizzy. Of course, they didn't do it, but for some reason it fit. Dizzy Dean was a larger than life personality who talked a lot, told great stories. And some people thought Dizzy really fit his personality. One quick Dizzy Dean story, he and his brother Paul were pitching in a doubleheader. And he won the first game for the Cardinals. And then Paul went out and pitched a no-hitter. So after the game was over, Dizzy said, if I had known he was going to pitch a no-hitter, I'd have pitched one too. But that's kind of how Dizzy was. And very few people know what Dizzy's name is because he's just Dizzy Dean. Great catcher for the Boston Red Sox, Carlton Fisk. He had the nickname of Pudge. Now, I think more people know that his name was Carlton, but he went by Pudge when he was playing baseball. He actually got the name when he was in high school because he was a chubby kid, and the kids called him Pudge rather than Fat or something like that. And kind of like Yogi, once he got it, it never left him. The Yankees had a Hall of Fame pitcher named Catfish Hunter. Catfish Hunter. Um, the family gave him his nickname because as he was a child, he went missing. And when they found him, they had him, they found him with a string of catfish that he had caught. And the family from that day on just called him Catfish. And all through baseball, people know Catfish Hunter. How about this one? Yankees great Hall of Fame shortstop, Pee Wee Reese. Pee Wee Reese. You know, he got that nickname, it seems, because when he was a kid, he won a marbles contest. We don't really know what marbles are, these little round things. And what we would do is we would, with our thumb, shoot them. And the marbles we hit, we got to keep. And they'd go around. Pee Wee was really good at it. And he won the tournament, neighborhood tournament. Well, once he won it, just to remind everyone about it, all his friends just started calling him Pee Wee. We think it was because he was short and small, and he kind of was, but really it emanated from him winning a marbles tournament. How about George Herman Ruth? Everybody knows him as Babe. If you said to people George Ruth, they would say, what is he, a singer? Or who's George Ruth? Babe Ruth. We kind of went back and forth as to how he got that, and there's kind of some myths about it. Babe Ruth was placed in I called it an orphanage. I got corrected. It was really a boys' school, but it was, he lived there, okay? It was a boarding school because his parents couldn't really take care of him. From about the age of 7, until he finally signed a baseball contract. He was a great baseball player there. And so one rumor was the nuns who taught him liked him and they called him Babe. But more people than not said that's not true. The reason he got the nickname is when he was signed, he was a young person, 16, 17 years old, going on to play professional baseball with men. Um, And he was so, believe it or not, Babe Ruth was really kind of intimidated and he didn't want to mess up. So what he did is he followed the manager everywhere. If the manager went into the dugout, he went in the dugout. If the manager went here, he followed him and he listened to his every word. And the men who were on the team called him, "There goes the manager's babe," because he was like side by side with him. And then they just translated that to just calling him directly Babe. Well, in short order, Babe Ruth became the greatest baseball player of his era, and no one even remembered that his name was George Herman. Um, the Negro Leagues were famous for giving people nicknames like Cool Papa Bell that just didn't leave. There's a Hall of Famer named Turkey Stearns. Now, I found out Turkey Stearns' name was Norman. No one knows him as Norman, just like nobody knows Cool Papa Bell's name. How he got the name was when he was running as a child, he used to flap his arms. When he got on the baseball team, he would run around the bases, very fast guy, with his arms flapping. And so they said, he looks like a turkey when he runs because of his arms. Bingo. The name Norman disappeared, and we now have Turkey Stearns. Great Pittsburgh Pirate, Hall of Famer, Pie Traynor. He got his nickname as he's a child in playing in Massachusetts because he would frequent a grocery store and he would often ask the owner for a slice of pie. The owner started calling him Pie Face because every time he'd come in, he'd say, "Oh, Pie Face, you want some pie?" Well, that stuck. And from the time he was a kid, it was Pie Traynor. Now I'm going to close with a pitcher who has won more baseball games than anybody else. And we have an award named after him in baseball, Cy Young. Cy Young's name is Denton. Denton Young. Well, how did he get the name Cy? Well, you know, with all these stories I'm telling you, we don't know if it's true or myth some of the times. When Cy Young started pitching, long, long time ago, folks, different game than today, he threw the ball faster than anybody else. So one person said he throws the ball like a cyclone. And that kind of stuck. For a while, they called him Cyclone Young. But nicknames. We try to reduce it down to something we can say with one syllable. So Cyclone Young became Cy Young. So much so, we give out Cy Young Awards. No one knows that this guy's name that his mama gave him was Denton. Well, just a few little sides here about nicknames and nicknames in baseball. So just not really a baseball story, just a reflection of famous players, and we don't really know their names. So you got some? You got some favorite nicknames on your teams? Let me know. Folks, like, subscribe, 5-star. Let's keep the conversation going. We're having a lot of fun here at Rounding Third, telling baseball stories. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. This is Peter Lemieux, Rounding Third. Have yourselves a great day.